Syndicated presents Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian.
All right, he's Shep. I'm Sean.
Good to have you back, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. As the Grateful Dead once said, what a long, strange trip it's been.
Yeah. And like Shep said, balls against the wall. Balls against the wall. Yeah.
You know, my family, they got all the balls jokes out there. And believe it or not,
did they do any AC/DC?
The first thing my wife did was send I've got big balls. Okay, so good. Yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, we had a wonderful time with it. So
good.
Yeah.
Speaking of balls, basketballs.
Yeah.
Michigan is a machine.
Dude.
I mean, I think you and I have had this conversation. I think Mackey's the toughest place to play. I was talking with a mutual professional friend of ours, Chris Solari, this morning.
Hi, Chris.
Said, well, I don't know. I mean, there's some places like the Rack, and I said, no. Maybe when Michigan State or Michigan are there, if Northwestern or Minnesota are there, it's not loud. It's loud at Mackey all the time. It's loud at Breslin all the time. I think Indiana gets loud, but I think Mackey's the loudest. Michigan has shut them up. It's amazing that Purdue can't get any closer than 12. It's incredible.
Shep, I'm going to say it again. I think that Michigan is a team that can legitimately win the national championship. I don't feel that way about Michigan State. I really don't. No disrespect. You know what side of the fence that I sit on.
Why?
I don't think that they have that guy that's going to slit your throat. I really don't. I don't
think they have the backup guy. I don't think
they have either, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it's Jeremy Fears. I think if their bigs start playing like they did earlier this year, and that team stays connected, because I think right now they feel like they're a little bit drifting. I think if they were connected and their bigs were back to playing the way we know they can be, they're a top 10 team. The problem with them is their lack of depth. They have no backup point guard, and that's a problem. Michigan literally goes 10 deep.
Shep, and I don't know if Fears is the guy. And I mean, obviously, I know what he did in Illinois. I mean, put themselves. I don't know if he's the guy that can take it over and keep things in control. And I think that sentiment. Is fair. I think they're not a bad team. Like, I'm not dogging on them. I know. And maybe this is another time where people sit back and go, "Gosh, Izzo got them to the Final Four again. All hail Tom Izzo." I don't think this is a national championship team.
Yeah, I get it. I don't necessarily disagree with you there. How many? Then we would have to break down how many are national championship contenders. Is UConn championship contender? Is Arizona, even though they've lost 2 in a row? Houston lost last night at Iowa State, blew a 10-point lead, by the way, to Iowa State. Duke sure as hell is. Okay, people may not like Duke for some reason or another, but they are really good, and we'll see that against Michigan on Saturday in an elite matchup in Washington, D.C. So there's probably a handful of teams. I would guess Michigan State is probably in the group of teams that if a lot has to happen for them to do that. If that's fair, okay? And Illinois is above them. Purdue's probably above them in the Big Ten. Wisconsin showed that they should be above them, but we'll see what happens. But I think they have the capability, Sean. Man, when you are that light at probably the most important position on the floor, point guard, then there's going to be some issues. Yeah.
It's so funny. I was talking to a Michigan State fan who's a friend of mine, and we were talking especially about the bigs. And Paul Davis was 21 years ago. Remember when all of a sudden he woke up before his last tournament and he said, "Hey, I could probably be a pretty big, impactful player," and kind of did what he hadn't done his whole career. And that's not to say he was a total bum, but he went down swinging in that tournament and was a big reason why they eventually made it to the national championship game.
Sure.
Obviously, if something like that occurs, all bets are off, but there's a reason we're talking about something crazy like that happening 21 years ago. I don't think you can expect that again.
No, I don't either. And I often wonder why February is such a sticking point for MSU. They are 21-18 in their last 5 Februaries, which to me seems un-Michigan State-like. So I don't know the reason for that. I feel pretty good about them playing against UCLA tonight, but there's certain matchups that just do not bode well for them. It's kind of like the Pistons and Knicks. I think that's a bad matchup for the Knicks. Michigan just doesn't seem to have any bad matchups. The teams they play, it doesn't matter if you want to go small. It doesn't matter if you want to go big. It doesn't matter if you're in the post or you're a three-point shooting team. Michigan's defense is an absolute beast, and they are an incredible force to be reckoned with.
Shep, let me jump up because somebody asked this question like 45 minutes ago, and I lied. It was an hour ago. Alan said, greetings, gentlemen. Are there any niche sports other than hockey you guys are watching from the Olympics? I don't know why, but the stupid biathlon where they cross-country ski and shoot entertains me. And then he had a second. Shep, honest to God, I love the biathlon. I don't know what it is. I love it. And the getting down, whether you lay down or you have to stand up doing it, I don't know why. It reminds me of going hunting up north when I was a kid. It's now take out the skiing part for me, because you and I were talking about this off the air. You can forget that skiing crap for people that had knee injuries. I'm going to go ahead and take a real big pass with that. But you're
talking about ski jumping. You're talking about ski jumping.
Heck, that other one where they're going like this uphill to go shoot crap. No, I don't want any part of it. And I don't know why I like the skeleton. Not the luge, but the skeleton. I'm fascinated by that because it's like one wrong move and it's incredible. So yeah, I'm digging the Olympics. I mean, obviously,
I am too. I'm fascinated by the single luge. You're like a bullet going up and down, and you're like a kid when you used to have those silver saucers going down your mountain. And people can get really creative with the helmet, like they do with goalies in the NHL. So I like that. I'd love to know how many curling events there are, because the curling, I do like the curling for some reason or another, but what I can't figure out is how often. I mean, it seems like it's on every day.
I know.
Can't figure when the hell are they going to announce a winner? I don't find it particularly challenging, but there's something about it that makes you just go, that dude's how does he not kick the stone while he's trying to sweep his way into that little yellow circle that I have no idea what it represents? But yeah, those are just a couple of them besides hockey that I've enjoyed so far.
If you legitimately had a guy like the Canadian Skip who tells that Swede to go bleep himself, I'm in every single curling event. I am in, and he said it so as a matter of fact, like so Canadian, and you can go beep off. And I was going, I've heard that a few times. It was so damn good. And you know what he said afterwards? Because there's some people that don't take too kindly to that. And Shep, I tend to agree with this. Listen, I try my best. All right. I really do. I try my best. But especially when you're in the throngs of competition, look, that's part of the thing, man.
I agree.
It's part of the thing. I don't want it for the kids. I don't want it on national television, all that wonderful stuff. But, man, in the middle of the game, there's nothing like looking at a guy and telling him that, it might be time for him to taste something. That's what –
just so we're clear, it's okay for Kevin Durant to tell somebody courtside at Little Caesars Arena, you can suck something, but this guy can't tell another guy to blank off. I mean, come on. Matthew Tkachuk, what he said to Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that didn't have the same profanity, but the effect was very, very profound, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Team USA, a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's unbelievable.
Just so good. So, if you're Draisaitl, you just turn around and skate back to the bench.
Yeah. You know what? You got me.
That's all you can do. Yeah. Team USA men's hockey didn't really look like they gelled into the Germany game. Tough draw with Sweden. I agree with the tough draw with Sweden. Shep, I think this tournament is wide open. I really do. And I'll tell you why it's wide open. Because I think the U.S. is much better in the back end than Canada is. Much better. Not better, much better.
But
it comes up front. You cannot compete with what Canada has up front.
No, it's video game stuff.
It is. It's fake. There were 2 goals. I was sitting in my dumb bed the other day watching the game. The 2 goals in a row it was, let me make sure I get it straight. It was McDavid from Crosby and Makar. Just say that out loud and you start laughing, right?
I thought you were going to go, it was Celebrini from McDavid and Crosby.
I think that was the next one. Yeah. That's because and you're going, well, it's not fair. It's like legitimately, it's not fair.
Well, Nathan McKinnon's their second line center. And I'm like, this guy might be the second best player in the world.
It's insane.
It is insane.
So you're not gonna win a run and gun with them. But I am intrigued if things shut down, as they have a tendency to shut down for the big game. Like let's remember the final of the Four Nations last year.
Sure.
If things shut down and you find yourself in a tight game with them, I like their back end better than I do. I like U.S. back end better than Canada's back end every day.
I do too, but who do you like better in net in that situation?
That's a very good question.
So, and that's part of the back end. So I like Connor Hellebuyck a lot. I'm rooting for him. He's a Michigander. It's all good stuff. But, we have talked about this on your podcast before. It's a bit of an issue with him in those big games in the playoffs over the last couple of years. So I think there's a reason for some hesitancy there. I am a little surprised because I read something earlier today that because Team USA is going to play Sweden tomorrow at 3:00 in the quarterfinals, that Kyle Connor might be another healthy scratch. And I'm trying to figure that out why. 60 points plus, great hands, wicked shot. I was struggling a little bit with who they took in the first place. Nothing against JT Miller. Nothing against a couple of other guys, but man, Jason Robertson scores. Your guy, Cole Caulfield, scores. Alex DeBrincat scores. What's that?
I wish he was there. I think that was a mistake, and not to bring some of the younger guns. I really do.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I hope I end up being wrong. And Billy Guerin's forgotten more hockey than I'll ever know. It's just it was a little surprising with now, maybe he wants certain types of styles. Okay, that's fine too. Okay, Herb Brooks made it work. Not everybody's got to be a superstar, and you don't just take the top, X amount of forwards, whatever it is, 14 forwards or whatever, and say, okay, here's the top 14 guys who are born in the U.S. I'm taking them. There's got to be something there, but in order to skate with Team Canada for those offensive lines, I thought they needed a little bit more offensive punch. You can't look past Sweden though either. Sweden's the one of three teams, U.S. and Canada, that has every player on it that is playing in the National Hockey League. So they're no pushover.
Do you know what? If I were to venture a guess, I think this is an educated guess though. I bet you the powers that be think that Kyle Connor's soft. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Yep. Okay.
Do you think he is?
Not soft in that he's going to go hide away from things. I think you need a guy like that on your team in a game of this magnitude. Do I think he's the guy that's going to shy away from some of the physical contact? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And he's not going to give it back. I think his penalty minutes will tell you that. This is a guy.
What would you take him for then?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Are you kidding me? I couldn't agree more.
Look, this is not a tryout. Everybody knows who your players are. Kyle Connor is one of the more gifted players in the National Hockey League. Okay, he's one of the more gifted scorers. You knew who he was. You've seen him for years.
Couldn't agree with him.
I know not everybody can dress. That's not my complaint. But what'd you take him for? If that's what you expected out of him, or thought you knew who he was, why would you take him when he turned out to be exactly who he has always been?
He is a 6'1", 180-pound guy with really good hands that can produce points. And I don't know, Shep, again, this is a guess, but I'm telling you an educated guess. All right, it's getting to the nitty-gritty in this tournament, and this could get really physical in a game like this with the Swedes, who are not, the pushover Scandinavian Swedes by any stretch of the imagination. All you had to do was watch that game against Latvia today. That's a pretty good educated guess, trust me. Yeah. Okay, this is not the type of game that he would excel in.
Okay, good.
That's my guess. Yeah, that's Let me get to some other comments because I want to get your take on. Good evening, Tom. Are the Tigers still a bat away from winning the AL? That's a good question, Shep. What do you think?
Well, here's how I look at it. I think Seattle, Toronto, the Yankees, Baltimore have better offenses than Detroit in the American League. Detroit has the best starting pitching. I like Seattle's pitching just as much, if not better, starting wise. I think Toronto's got really good starting pitching. So if you were to ask me who's the more complete team, I would say Seattle and Toronto. But we'll have to wait and see. So that's my educated guess. I like Seattle starting pitching. I liked it a year ago. It wasn't good enough to beat Toronto to get to the World Series. Toronto's got a really good lineup, even though they lost Bichette. So, look, you and I both know Skubal, Framber Valdez, Mize, Verlander, Flaherty, Anderson, Melton. You feel good about that. They haven't done one thing offensively. They're all the same guys, and maybe those guys will take another step. I hope they do. I really do.
For sure.
I'll take 31 and 90 from Torkelson. I'll take 36 and 110. It was 111 last year for Riley Green. I'll take Dingler and his progress. I hope Colt Keith gets the opportunity. I just wonder, can Vierling come back and do something he did 2 years ago? Can Zach McKinstry do what he did a year ago? Parker Meadows has a new swing. Is it going to produce power? Can Gleyber Torres and Javier Baez duplicate all-star performances from a year ago? My gut tells me no with the latter two. And with McKinstry. We'll have to see how that plays out. But if you're looking strictly from an offensive standpoint, Detroit is lacking in the American League.
Yep, I agree. Ray over in Canada, Binnington has won a Game 7 in Boston. What has Hellebuck won? Nobody's arguing that.
Right.
You got
that's why we said
exactly what we're saying. Ray, let me ask you a question because you and I talk hockey a lot. Team USA's defense, Team Canada's defense. Who you got?
Yeah,
I'll take the United States defenders any day. The great unequalizer in this is the firepower up front. I mean,
but based on Ray's logic, Matthew Tkachuk's won 2 cups, and Connor McDavid hasn't won any. I mean, I'll take Connor McDavid every single day of the week. And I like the Tkachuks. I know that's not a popular thing. I know there's some people, including our friend Keith Gave, who's like, there are other storylines. Hold on a second. Okay. Brock Nelson had a really good storyline in Game 1, and he was really good. Okay. Hellebuck has been a storyline. All right. There have been other players on Team USA where they have focused on those storylines. Against Denmark, when the U.S. or was it Latvia? Who was it where they were struggling and they finally awakened when Brady Tkachuk had a big hit along the boards? Okay, he scored the first goal for Team USA in the Olympics. He's been a physical presence. Matthew Tkachuk has played a physical presence too. Don't get all pissy and moany just because those two guys have big names, but also have a lot to boast about because of what they've accomplished so far. They're tough guys who can score. Are they as good a scorer as their father? No, but they are the physical power forward that every team would want on their team, or every player or every fan would want on their team.
I will go a step further. I think in particular, Brady Tkachuk has literally become the poster child of, I hate that guy, but he might be my favorite player on my favorite team. I literally think he's the poster child. I said it.
I'm okay with that.
I said it, Shep. I got a chance to do his games when he was NTDP. I said it 10,000 times before that draft. I would take that kid and would not even think twice about it. Wouldn't even think twice about it.
I said it 3 years ago. If I could have one guy for the Red Wings at this time, that's the guy I would take because he brings that edge, but he can also score and he can also make plays. He's a really good hockey player. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm saying he's a really good hockey player. And it's funny, especially in our town where we love Isaiah Stewart right now, where we've loved Rodman and Mahorn and Lambier and McCarty and Koser and Probert and tough guys like that of the past, Kirk Gibson. Suddenly you're going to poo-poo on this guy because he's a tough guy?
Yeah.
Think again, okay?
Yeah, no doubt. If Sweden plays to its potential, they could beat USA. Nylander and Matthews. Hedman is better than the USD. Hedman might be the best defenseman out there, overall defenseman, I'll take Team USA's defense score across the board. I will. And if you want me to go off the top of my head and read them all to you, that defense score is sick, top to bottom.
I don't know, man. I really like Quinn Hughes. I love Zach Werenski. Charlie McAvoy's a really good player. Jacob Slavin's been really good. Victor Hedman has the reputation. Quinn Hughes is as talented outside of Cale Makar in the National Hockey League.
Hanifin, Faber, they're so deep. And you know what the thing is, Shep? There's a little bit of what you want in a defenseman in every one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
You know, you've got the offensive flair. You've kind of got that snarl. You got the guy that can move the puck. You got the guy that's willing to stay home and everything. Mm-hmm. I love their defense score. I think U.S. doesn't get enough credit for developing the kind of defensemen that they have in recent years. I really don't. That defense score, and you mentioned one of them. I got to change. Slavin's unbelievable. Just watch him. Like he's unbelievable. And that's a guy, he's never going to win a Norris Trophy. It's never going to happen. But that's a type of guy I think every guy in the league would say, gosh damn, I wish he was on our blue line.
I heard somebody talking the other day. They think he should be up on the first defensive pairing with Quinn Hughes, and McAvoy should be with Werenski. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not against it. I don't think that's bad.
They think McAvoy takes too many chances or goes down low too frequently. So.
That's a good part. When you're talking about a team of this caliber, I think it's impossible to overthink situations like that. I do. I mean, it's like, okay, let's try that. You're talking about the best of the best. You really are.
It's not like you're rolling the dice there.
Yeah,
you're taking a really risky thing there, right?
Yeah. Let me get to some other counts. Brady Tkachuk was also really good in his role of Sloth in the movie The Goonies. Is Werenski a Norris candidate? Yep.
He sure is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was reading odds the other day. I want to make sure I get this right.
That was Mo Sider, by the way. So.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. Hold the phone for just a second. So if I'm not mistaken, it was Makar and then Hughes and then Werenski and then Hudson. And then I think after that, there was the drop off to Mo Sider. And Shep, do I agree with what you just said? I do. Do I think that the people that vote for the Norris will agree with that? No,
I don't either. He's in the conversation is all I'm saying. I think if you're going to have 5 or 6 guys, I mean, if you use the NBA for an example, do you think Cade Cunningham's going to win MVP? Well, right now he just by a percentage point crawled over Luka Doncic in the latest, but they still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and they have Jokic ahead of him. So is he in the conversation? Yes. Is he serious? Are they serious? I don't know. His coach will go out there and tell you they should be, but that doesn't mean voters are. There are certain things that you have to prove and certain pub that you have to get because, as you know, as a Heisman Trophy voter, there's a lot of people who they just don't pay as close attention as they probably should.
No. And I think what works against him is you're going to see the numbers from Makar and you're going to see the numbers from Hughes and you're going to see the numbers. And Lane Hudson's insane. Shep, I watch him every night. The average human doesn't know. I mean, the things that kid does every night, you're just like, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, I mean, to be that young. I saw a comparison the other day. It was one of the guys from CBC was having a conversation with Chris Pronger. Mm-hmm. And I know what people think about Chris Pronger. I'd go to war with Chris Pronger. But one of the guys said to Chris Pronger, do you see a little bit of you in Mo Sider? And Pronger goes, yeah. You know, now maybe not the snarl of Pronger, but he's going to do everything well. He's going to play physical with you. He's maybe never going to put up those bombastic numbers that make the type of people that you were just speaking about, Shep, go, well, I can't vote for him for the Norris Trophy. Well, Werenski had 83 points in 80 games, and Lane Hudson had 72 assists. And look what Makar's doing. Look what Hughes going. But obviously that doesn't make him any less effective either.
Sure. Right. It's the low-hanging fruit. When in doubt, let's go to points.
Yep.
Okay? And by the way, we do it in every sport. It's not a knock on hockey.
Sure.
Okay? Who's the finalist for MVP in the National Football League? Well, look, Matthew Stafford has the most yards. Drake May, look at how well he's done, blah, blah. That's what we do. You use numbers instead of maybe talking to coaches, defensive players. Hey, man, what do you like about this guy? What is it beyond the numbers that I can read into?
By the way, Michigan 81-69 with 2:28 to go.
Ass kicking. Remember, Purdue beat their ass last year at Mackey. Yeah. Okay, so who's going to trip Michigan up left on their schedule? They've got Duke. That's a possibility. They're at Champaign-Urbana against Illinois, and they're home against MSU. Now, they got to go to Iowa, but historically, Iowa's given them problems. But I don't know, man. You go into this place and you do that. You go into Breslin and do that. You think they're going to be intimidated by Carver Hawkeye? I don't think so.
Yeah. Big Ice will help Canada more than the U.S. The U.S. was built for NHL size arena. I agree. I think Canada's winning it all. I think there's too much up front. I said it at the beginning. I say it right now. There's just too much up front. I know. And again, things will shut down. They always do, especially in a game like that. But it's insane. It's Shep Nick Suzuki, who is. I'm not going to go as far as this. I've said for like the last year plus, I think Christian Keller is the most underrated player in the league. I'm not going to go as far as to say he's up there with Christian Keller, but Nick Suzuki's a hell of a player. He's barely getting ice time out there. I mean, they're so deep up front. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's almost unfair. I mean, but I love watching them play. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've enjoyed watching somebody play their sport as much as I've enjoyed watching Connor McDavid. I mean, I've never seen anybody jump on their toes and take off the way that dude does. I can't take my eyes off him every time he's on the ice. It's just simply spectacular.
There is there's just a different, there are two guys and it's McKinnon and McDavid. There's just a different gear that other guys don't have.
Yeah.
And it's like Shep, I always say this. I mean, you've called so many football games in the past, and there are guys that might run the 40 and he ran a 4.6 40 or something, mm-hmm. But you get him out on the field and it's just game speed. It's a different speed.
Totally.
Those guys, when they're going after the puck, like it really does. It's such an overplayed cliche, but it's one that has to be said. There's a different gear. It's like pressing the X button, cheat mode or something. There's just a different gear that other mere mortals can't compete with that, you know?
It's like cartoon speed in football. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Anything else, Shep, before we get out of here?
I was wondering a little bit about your thoughts on the NBA All-Star game because I actually enjoyed it.
Shep, I swear to God, I said it on Woodward this morning. Now, let me full disclosure. If I wasn't laying in a hospital bed, there isn't a snowball's chance in hell I would turn that on.
Okay,
all right?
You did. Okay.
I did because I'm sitting there going, all right, I could sit back and watch Braveheart for the 388th time. Oh, look, Predator's on again. So Shep, I enjoyed that format. I openly admit it. It's green eggs and ham. I do like green eggs and ham. I will tap back into that next year. Seriously.
I will too. There's a part of me, like you can have the dunk contest. You can have all that other stuff. Okay. My idea was this. First of all, I wanted to see a full game. The 12-minute quarters, I just feel like it's not enough. Maybe a game is too much. Maybe players don't want to do that. What if you took 16 guys on the American team and 16 guys on the world team? And what you did is you played a Friday game of one half of basketball and you played 8-on-8 or 5-on-5, but at 8 players. Half your roster play Friday night and then Sunday do the same thing with a day off in between. And that's where you can have all that other bull crap that nobody really likes. I'm trying to find a way to play actually a full game with these guys where you can get a little bit more than just, 3 one-quarter games. But I don't want to complain too much because I've complained a lot in the past about the formats. This format worked for me.
I agree.
Only one world team tells you what, though. If there's 2 American teams, they don't want the world team to win. And it's USA's game, right? But if Giannis Antetokounmpo is healthy and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is healthy and Nikola Jokic actually gave a crap who knows what that game may be.
I agree. I enjoy. I all jokes aside, I said it on the show this morning. Because I asked our mutual friend KG. I was like, "What did you think?" And he goes, "It was pretty good." And I said, "I'll go higher than that." And I'm not NBA guy. I say it all the time. You guys are watching the NBA. I'm watching hockey. I'm never going to apologize for it. That's just the way it is. But I enjoyed it, and I'll do it again. And as Tom said, Crosby having a great tournament. Anybody that knows me, I love Sidney Crosby.
Well, I do too. I do too. I know that's taboo in Detroit, but he's a phenomenal, not just a phenomenal player. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's a generational player. He's been a generational player forever. He's the best 200-foot center for a long period of time. I used to say he's more dominant at his sport than LeBron James was at his. I don't think that's probably relatable anymore. But when everybody looks at Ovechkin because of the goals, Sidney Crosby's got more points. Sidney Crosby is an elite all-time player, great all-time player, great all-time Olympian too.
Yep, no doubt. All right, Shep, always a pleasure. Make sure you listen to him in the morning, listen to him and Bray in the afternoon as well. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, Todd. God bless you all. Keep hope alive.
See you, buddy.
Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Still Alive by Anti-Ghost. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.